The alarm sounds were loud and sharp. Captain Kim Minho opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt badly. The lights in his room were flashing red and white. Something was very wrong. He got up from his bed and walked to the door. His legs felt weak. The hallway was empty and quiet except for the alarm sounds. All the other crew members were still sleeping in their special beds. These beds kept people safe during long space trips. Minho walked to the main control room of his ship. The ship was called Soul's Pride. It was not a big ship, but it was his ship. He had been the captain for 5 years. This was supposed to be a simple trip to check on some space stations near Earth. In the control room, all the lights were blinking. The computer screen showed many red warning messages. Minho sat in his captain's chair and pressed some buttons. He needed to wake up his crew. "Computer, wake up all crew members now," he said. "Yes, Captain," the computer replied. After a few minutes, his crew started coming to the control room. They all looked confused and tired. Park Ji-woo was the first to arrive. He was in charge of finding the way through space. His job was to know where the ship was going. "Captain, what happened?" Ji-woo asked. "I feel like I was sleeping for a very long time." "I don't know yet," Minho said. "Check our location. Tell me where we are." Ji-woo sat at his workstation and started pressing buttons. His face became very worried. "Captain, this is impossible," Ji-woo said. "The computer says we are very far from Earth, much farther than we should be. The numbers don't make sense." Lee Salmon came into the room next. She was the ship's engineer. Her job was to fix machines and make sure the ship worked properly. She looked at the engine readings on her screen. "Captain, something is wrong with our engine," Salmon said. "It looks different now. The energy patterns are not normal. I have never seen anything like this before." More crew members came into the control room. Choi Hyun worked with communications. Nam Jina was the science officer. Yoon Dae-ho studied old things from space. Kang Minji was in charge of security. Oh Sungmin was their pilot. Shin Hara was the doctor. They all looked scared and confused. "Everyone calm down," Minho said. "Let's figure out what happened step by step." Ji-woo was still looking at his navigation screen. "Captain, according to this, we are 40,000 light years from Earth. That would take hundreds of years to travel. But we were only supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. "That's impossible," Hera said. "Humans don't have technology to travel that far so quickly." Someone was checking the engine room through her computer. "Captain, I need to go look at the engine directly. Something has changed it. The quantum drive we were testing, it's different now. It's showing energy levels that shouldn't exist." "Do it," Minho said. "Take Minji with you for safety." While Soman and Minji went to check the engine, Hyun was trying to listen to radio signals in space. "Captain, I'm picking up strange signals," Hyun said. "They're not human languages, and they sound worried, like something bad is happening." Gina was looking at the space around them through the ship's sensors. "Captain, look at this. There are structures out there. Big ones. They look very old, and they're made of materials I don't recognize." On the main screen, they could see strange shapes floating in space. They looked like huge crystals, but they were the size of small moons. Some of them were glowing with a soft blue light. "Those are not natural," Dae-ho said. He studied ancient things, so he knew about old civilizations. Someone built those things. But they look much older than anything humans have ever found. Suddenly, Hyun's communication equipment started making loud noises. "Captain, I'm getting a message," Hyun said. "It's being translated by our computer. Someone is trying to talk to us." "Put it on the main speaker," Minho ordered. A voice came through the speakers. It sounded strange, like it was not made by human vocal cords. "Unknown vessel, you are in a forbidden zone. This area has been sealed by Galactic Council law for 3,000 years. How did you get past our defenses? Identify yourselves immediately." The crew looked at each other with surprise and fear. Galactic Council? Forbidden Zone? They had never heard of such things. "Captain," Ji-woo whispered, "if this place has been forbidden for 3,000 years, how did we get here? And why don't our star maps show any of this?" Minho thought for a moment. He had to make a decision. Should he answer the voice? Should he tell them they were humans from Earth? "This is Captain Kim Minho of the Earth ship Soul's Pride," he said into the communication device. "We are not sure how we got here. Our navigation systems malfunctioned. We mean no harm." There was a long silence. Then the voice came back, and it sounded even more worried. "Did you say Earth? Humans? That is impossible. Humans are a protected developing species. You do not have the technology to reach this sector. How did you breach the Valthak quarantine zone?" Selman's voice came through the internal communication system from the engine room. Captain, you need to see this. The engine. It's not just changed. It's been connected to something else. There are new parts that I didn't put there. They look like they grew out of the ship itself. The strange voice spoke again. Human vessel, you must leave this area immediately. This zone contains dangerous ancient technology. It is not safe for any species, especially not for developing ones like yours. But before Minho could respond, all the screens in the control room started showing new information. The big crystal structures around them were starting to move. They were turning toward the Soul's Pride. Captain, Gina said with fear in her voice. Those structures are scanning us, but our shields should be blocking their scans. Instead, it's like they're reading everything about our ship. Jiwoo checked his navigation again. Captain, more ships are coming, big ones. They don't look like human ships at all. Through the main viewing window, they could see large vessels approaching from different directions. They had strange shapes and were much bigger than the Soul's Pride. This is Fleet Commander Thexandra of the Galactic Council, a new voice said. Human vessel, you are completely surrounded. Power down your engines and prepare to be escorted out of this zone. Minho looked at his crew. They were all waiting for his decision. Whatever had brought them to this place, there was no going back now. They were about to meet alien civilizations that humans had never known existed, and somehow, they had ended up in the most dangerous place in the galaxy. Captain Kim Minho looked at the alien ships surrounding them. They were much bigger than Soul's Pride. Their shapes were strange and flowing like they had been grown instead of built. Captain, what should we do? Park Jiwoo asked quietly. Minho thought quickly. Something felt wrong about this situation. Why were these aliens treating humans like children? And how did they get to this forbidden place so easily? Hyun, can you listen to their communications without them knowing? Minho asked. Choi Hyun nodded and started working on his equipment. Yes, Captain. I can pick up their signals. Do it. I want to know what they're really saying to each other. The alien commander spoke again. Human vessel, respond immediately. You must leave this zone. It is for your own safety. But Minho did not answer right away. He wanted to hear what the aliens were saying first. After a few minutes, Hyun looked up with surprise on his face. Captain, you need to hear this, Hyun said. He played back the alien communications for everyone to hear. The voices were speaking in their own language, but the ship's computer translated the words. How did these primitives get here? One alien voice said, Impossible! Humans barely have basic space travel. They should not even know this sector exists, said another. The quarantine has held for 3 millennia. Even our most advanced ships need special permission to enter. How did a human ship just appear here? This is very bad. If the humans can get here, the zone might not be secure anymore. The crew of Soul's Pride listened with growing anger. These aliens were calling them primitives. They were talking about humans like they were pets or children. They think we're stupid, Lee Soman said angrily. They're treating us like we're not real people, Nam Gina added. Minho felt angry too, but he also felt curious. Hyun, what exactly is this quarantine zone? Can you find more information? Hyun worked on his computer for several minutes. Captain, I'm finding old data files. This place is called the Velthak Quarantine Zone. The Velthak were an ancient alien race. They disappeared a long time ago, but they left behind very dangerous technology. The Galactic Council sealed this whole area to keep everyone away. How long ago? Daeho asked. He was interested in ancient civilizations. About 3,000 years, Hyun replied. Minho made a decision. If these aliens thought humans were too primitive to be here, maybe they were wrong. Maybe humans belonged here more than anyone thought. Jiwoo, take us deeper into the zone, Minho ordered. Captain, are you sure? Jiwoo asked. Yes. If we're really too primitive to be here, then leaving should be easy. But something brought us here for a reason. The Soul's Pride started moving away from the alien ships and toward the crystal structures in the center of the zone. Human vessel, stop immediately, the alien commander shouted. You are moving toward extremely dangerous ancient technology. But Minho ignored the warnings. Summon, what's happening with our engine? Captain, it's getting stronger, Summon reported from the engine room. The new parts are glowing brighter. It's like they want us to go deeper into the zone. As they moved closer to the crystal structures, something amazing happened. The crystals started to glow brighter. They were responding to the human ship. Captain, look at this, Gina said, pointing at her science readings. Those crystals are sending out energy beams. But they're not attacking us. They're scanning us. Suddenly, the crystal structures around them started to change. New shapes emerged from what looked like dead planets. These new structures were massive and beautiful, like buildings made of living light. Impossible, came a voice from the alien ships. The Valthak defenses are activating. They have been dormant for 3,000 years. Then something shocking happened. The beautiful crystal structures started firing energy weapons. But they were not firing at the Soul's Pride. They were firing at the alien ships. All Council ships retreat immediately, the alien commander shouted. The ancient defenses are targeting us. 3 of the alien ships were hit by the energy beams. Their shields failed instantly. The ships were badly damaged and had to move away quickly. But the Soul's Pride was completely safe. The ancient weapons ignored the human ship completely. This is impossible, Gina said, looking at her readings. Those weapons should destroy us easily, but they're treating us like we belong here. Captain, someone called from the engine room. The ship is changing more. I think it's connecting with the ancient technology around us. A new alien voice came over the communications. This one sounded older and calmer. This is Council Mediator Veltharion, the voice said. Humans of Earth, we need to talk. Something very unusual is happening here. What do you want to talk about? Minho replied. Your presence here is causing the ancient Valthak technology to wake up. This should not be possible. The Valthak have been gone for millions of years. Their technology should not respond to any living species. But it's responding to us, Minho said. Yes, and that is what frightens us. The Valthak were incredibly advanced, but they destroyed themselves. Their technology is too dangerous for anyone to use. That's why this zone has been forbidden. Gina was studying the energy readings from the crystals. Captain, I'm detecting massive structures deep in the zone. They're much bigger than anything we can see, and they're all starting to wake up. The humans are acting like a key, Veltharion continued. They're unlocking things that have been sealed away for good reasons. This could be very dangerous for the entire galaxy. Maybe, Minho said. Or maybe we're here because we're supposed to be. What do you mean? Veltharion asked. You said the Velthak were advanced. What if they left their technology for someone to find? What if they chose humans for a reason? There was a long silence from the alien ships. Finally, Veltharion spoke again. If that is true, then everything we know about the galaxy might be wrong. Humans were supposed to be a young species, just learning to travel between stars. How could you be connected to technology that's older than our entire civilization? Deho was looking at images of the crystal structures. Captain, these don't look like weapons. They look like libraries, like places where information is stored. What kind of information? Minho asked. I don't know yet, but I think the Velthak left something here for someone to find, and that someone might be us. The Soul's Pride continued moving deeper into the zone. The crystal structures grew larger and more complex. And somewhere in the distance, something very big was starting to wake up after sleeping for millions of years. The aliens followed at a safe distance, too afraid to come closer, but too curious to leave. They had never seen anything like this before. A primitive human ship was doing something that their advanced technology could not do. And deep in the zone, ancient machines that had waited for countless ages finally sensed the presence they had been programmed to wait for. The inheritors had finally arrived. Dr. Yundeho stared at the images on his screen. The crystal structures around them were covered in symbols and patterns. As someone who studied ancient civilizations, he knew these were not random decorations. They were some kind of writing. Captain, I think I'm starting to understand something, Deho said. These structures aren't just weapons or buildings. They're like huge books made of crystal. Books? Captain Kim Minho asked. Information storage. The Valthak left behind everything they knew, but they hid it in a way that only certain people could read it. Namgina was studying the energy patterns around them. Deho might be right. The crystals are sending out complex signals. They're not random. There's a pattern, like a language. Lee Salmon's voice came from the engine room. Captain, something strange is happening down here. The new parts of our engine are glowing, and I'm seeing symbols appearing on the walls. They look like the same symbols Deho is seeing. I'm coming down there, Deho said. He wanted to see these symbols for himself. When Deho reached the engine room, he gasped. The walls were covered in glowing symbols that moved and changed like living things, but somehow he could understand them. This is impossible, he whispered. I can read this. It's like the symbols are speaking directly to my mind. Someone looked at him with surprise. You can understand alien writing? Not exactly understanding. It's more like remembering. Like I already knew what these symbols meant, but I had forgotten. Back in the control room, Choi Hyun was picking up new signals. Captain, the alien ships are talking to each other again. They sound very worried. What are they saying? Minho asked. They're talking about sending a message to something called the Supreme Chancellor. They think we might be activating something that could destroy the galaxy. Park Ji-woo was watching the navigation screens. Captain, we're getting close to the center of the zone. There's something very big ahead of us. On the main viewing screen, they could see a massive structure floating in space. It was larger than most planets, made of the same crystal material as the smaller structures around them. But this one was different. It was clearly artificial, built by intelligent beings. That's a space station, Oh Sungmin said in amazement. But it's bigger than anything humans have ever built. Suddenly, all the screens in the control room started showing new information. Images appeared that none of them had seen before. They showed tall, elegant beings with large eyes and long fingers. The beings looked peaceful and wise. The Valthak, Gina whispered. We're seeing recordings of the Valthak. A voice began speaking. It was not coming from the communications equipment. It was coming from inside their heads. Greetings, inheritors, the voice said. If you are receiving this message, it means you have the mental patterns we have been waiting for. The crew looked at each other with amazement and fear. For millions of years, we have waited for a species with the right kind of thinking. Your minds work in a way that can connect with our technology. You are the ones we chose to receive our knowledge. Captain Minho found his voice. Who were you? What happened to your people? The voice continued as if it had heard his question. We were the Velthak. We achieved great knowledge and power. But we learned that physical existence has limits. We chose to move beyond the physical world, but we did not want our knowledge to be lost. More images appeared on the screens. They showed the Velthak civilization at its peak. Cities that floated in space, machines that could create matter from energy, technology that seemed like magic. We programmed our technology to wait for the right inheritors, beings who are intelligent enough to understand our knowledge, but still connected to physical existence. Beings who can grow and learn without losing their humanity. Daeho came back to the control room, looking excited and scared. Captain, the symbols in the engine room are teaching me things. I'm learning about Velthak history, their science, their philosophy. It's like getting years of education in minutes. Is it safe? Shinhara asked. As the ship's doctor, she was worried about what this alien knowledge might do to human minds. I think so, Daeho said. The knowledge comes with warnings and safeguards. The Velthak were very careful about who could access their information. The voice in their heads spoke again. Your species shows the qualities we valued most. You explore and learn, but you also care for each other. You seek knowledge, but you do not lose your compassion. This is why we chose humans. Hyun was still listening to the alien communications. Captain, the Galactic Council ships are calling for reinforcements. They're really scared of what's happening here. Let them be scared, Kang Minji said. She had been quiet until now, but as the security officer, she was thinking about protection. They've been treating us like children. Maybe it's time they learned that humans are not as primitive as they thought. The massive Velthak station ahead of them began to change. Sections opened up like a flower blooming. Inside they could see structures that were clearly designed for ships to dock. It's inviting us in, Sungmin said. Captain, Somin called from the engine room. Our ship is responding to the station. The new parts of our engine are connecting with something. I think our ship is becoming part Velthak technology. Minho had to make another important decision. The aliens outside were afraid of what humans might do with Velthak technology, but the Velthak themselves had chosen humans to receive their knowledge. Take us into the station, he ordered. As Soul's Pride entered the ancient station, lights began turning on everywhere. The station had been waiting for them for millions of years, and now it was waking up. Captain, Gina said, looking at her readings. This station is massive. It has libraries, laboratories, manufacturing facilities, everything the Velthak needed for their civilization. And now it's ours? Minho asked. According to the signals I'm receiving, yes, Gina replied. But there's something else. The station is running some kind of test. It's evaluating us to make sure we're really worthy of this inheritance. The voice spoke in their heads again. The final test will determine if you can handle the responsibility of our knowledge. Many species have great intelligence. Fewer have wisdom. We must be certain that you will not make the same mistakes we made. What mistakes? Daeho asked. We became so advanced that we forgot the value of simple existence. We gained the power to reshape reality, but we lost touch with the joy of being alive. You must prove that you can grow beyond us while remaining essentially human. Outside the station, the Galactic Council forces were gathering in larger numbers. They could see that something major was happening, but they were too afraid to interfere directly. Inside the station, the humans were about to face a test that would determine not just their own future, but the future of the entire galaxy. The Valthak had left behind knowledge that could solve every problem or create new disasters beyond imagination. The choice of what to do with that knowledge would soon be in human hands. The Soul's Pride docked inside the massive Velthak station. As soon as they connected, Captain Kim Minho felt a change in the air. The ship's systems were linking with technology that was millions of years old, but somehow it felt natural and familiar. "Captain," Lee Salmon reported from the engine room, "our ship is merging with the station's systems, but it's not taking over our ship. It's like the two technologies are becoming friends." Outside the station, Choi Hyun detected many more alien ships arriving. "Captain, there are a lot of ships out there now." The Galactic Council has called in their military forces. Through the communication system, they could hear multiple alien voices arguing with each other. "This is Supreme Chancellor Zephyros of the Galactic Council," a deep, commanding voice announced. "All ships maintain safe distance from the Valthak station. Do not approach under any circumstances." "Supreme Chancellor," another voice replied. "The Korvaran Empire claims salvage rights to any activated Velthak technology. We demand access to the station." "The Celestian Union believes these humans are in danger," a gentler voice added. "We request permission to extract them for their own safety." A fourth voice spoke, darker and more mysterious. "The Voidwalkers have ancient treaties with the Valthak. We have prior claim to this inheritance." Captain Minho listened to all this arguing and realized something important. All these alien species wanted the Valthak technology for themselves. They were fighting over it like children fighting over toys. "They're all afraid," Namgina observed. "For 3,000 years, they've built their civilization using small pieces of Valthak technology they found. Now they see humans accessing the real thing, and they're scared they'll be left behind." Dr. Yoon Daiho had been exploring the station's databases through the glowing symbols. "Captain, I'm learning incredible things. The Valthak had technology that could cure any disease, create matter from energy, even stop aging. But they also had weapons that could destroy entire star systems. That's why everyone is scared," Kang Minji said. "If humans get access to that kind of power, we could either save the galaxy or destroy it," Minho finished. The voice of the Valthak spoke in their minds again. "You understand the weight of this choice. This is good. Many species desire power without understanding responsibility." Suddenly, alarms started ringing throughout the station. Park Ji-woo checked his navigation screens. "Captain, the Korvaran Empire ships are attacking. They're firing on the station's outer defenses." On the viewing screens, they could see large, aggressive-looking ships firing energy weapons at the station. The Korvarans were known throughout the galaxy as a military species that believed strength was the only thing that mattered. "They think they can take the station by force," Oh Seungmin said. But the station's defenses activated automatically. Ancient Velthak weapons that had been sleeping for millions of years came to life. The weapons were incredibly powerful, but they were also controlled by artificial intelligence that understood the difference between attacking and defending. The Korvaran ships were pushed back, but they kept trying to attack. "More ships are coming," Hyun reported. "The Celestian Union is sending rescue ships. The Voidwalkers are emerging from dark space. This is becoming a war zone." Captain Minho realized he had to make the most important decision of his life. The station was offering humanity incredible power, but using that power would change everything. Other alien species would either fear humans or try to destroy them. "Valthak voice," he said out loud. "What exactly are you asking us to choose?" The ancient voice replied. "You must choose what kind of species humanity will become. You can accept our full knowledge and become like us, powerful beyond imagination but no longer truly human. You can reject our gift and remain as you are, but the galaxy will continue to be ruled by species that fear and fight each other. Or you can choose a third path." "What third path?" Gina asked. "Become bridges between the physical and transcendent worlds. Accept our knowledge but remain grounded in your humanity. Use our power to help others grow, rather than to rule over them." While they were discussing this choice, the battle outside was getting worse. The Korvarans had called in more ships. The Celestians were trying to create a protective barrier around the station. The Voidwalkers were using strange technology that seemed to bend space itself. "Captain," Soman called urgently, "the station is offering to upgrade our ship completely. It can make Soul's Pride into something that has never existed before. A ship that combines human engineering with Velthak transcendence." "What would that mean?" Minho asked. "We could travel anywhere in the galaxy instantly. We could protect ourselves from any weapon. We could heal any injury or disease. But we would also become responsible for maintaining the balance between all the different species." Shinhara had been thinking about the medical possibilities. "Captain, with Velthak healing technology, we could cure diseases that have killed billions of people throughout the galaxy. We could extend life, reduce suffering, help entire civilizations. But," Minji added, "we would also have weapons that could end any civilization that opposed us. Other species would fear us even if we tried to help them." The battle outside reached a critical point. One of the Korvaran ships managed to breach the station's outer defenses and was heading directly toward Soul's Pride. "Captain, they're targeting us specifically," Sungmin warned. The Velthak voice spoke urgently. "Choose now. The station can protect you and transform your ship, but only if you accept the responsibility that comes with our inheritance." Captain Minho looked at his crew. They were all scared, but they trusted him to make the right choice. Outside, alien civilizations were fighting over power they didn't understand. The Velthak were offering humans the chance to be different. "We choose the third path," Minho said firmly. "We accept your knowledge, but we stay human. We become bridges, not rulers." The moment he spoke those words, everything changed. The Soul's Pride began transforming. The ship grew larger and more beautiful, but it still looked recognizably human. New systems activated that could do things no human technology had ever achieved. The crew felt changes too. Their minds expanded, able to understand concepts they had never imagined. But they still felt like themselves, still human, still caring about each other. "The transformation is complete," the Velthak voice said. "You are now the first human Velthak guardians. Your role is to help the galaxy grow and learn, while preventing the mistakes that destroyed us." Outside, the attacking Korvaran ship suddenly stopped. Its weapons had no effect on the transformed Soul's Pride. But instead of destroying the Korvaran ship, the humans used their new abilities to disable its weapons without harming the crew. The battle stopped as all the alien ships realized that something fundamental had changed. Humans were no longer a primitive species that needed protection. They had become something new, powerful but wise, advanced but still compassionate. The galaxy would never be the same again. The Soul's Pride floated in space, no longer looking like the ship that had arrived in the Forbidden Zone. It was larger now, with smooth curves that seemed to flow like water frozen in time. Parts of it glowed with soft blue light, the same color as the Velthak crystals. But anyone looking at it could still tell it was built by humans. Captain Kim Minho felt different too. His mind was clearer, able to understand complex ideas that would have been impossible before, but he still felt like himself. He still cared about his crew, still worried about making the right choices. "How does everyone feel?" he asked his crew. "Strange but good," replied Namjina. "I can understand the science behind things I could never figure out before, but I still feel human." Lisa Min was amazed by her new understanding of the ship's systems. "Captain, I can see exactly how everything works now. Our ship can travel through space in ways that seemed impossible an hour ago. We can go anywhere in the galaxy almost instantly." Dr. Yoon Daeho was studying the Velthak knowledge flowing through his mind. "Captain, I understand their history now." The Velthak became so advanced that they forgot how to feel joy, how to appreciate simple things. They had unlimited power, but they lost their souls. That's why they chose us, Shinhara realized. Humans have always been good at staying connected to simple emotions. Even when we achieve great things, outside their ship, the alien fleets were still positioned around the station, but no one was fighting anymore. The transformation of Soul's Pride had shocked everyone into silence. Supreme Chancellor Zephyros was the first to speak. "Humans of Earth, what have you become?" Captain Minho opened a communication channel to all the ships. "We are still human, Chancellor, but we have also become something more. We are guardians of the Velthak legacy." "What does that mean for the rest of us?" asked the Korvaran commander who had been trying to attack them. "It means the galaxy can finally move beyond fear and competition," Minho replied. The Veilthak left their knowledge not to create new rulers but to create teachers and protectors. The Voidwalker representative spoke in their mysterious way. The ancient treaties spoke of this possibility, the inheritors who would bridge the gap between existence and transcendence. We did not believe it would actually happen. Park Jiwoo was monitoring all the communications between the alien ships. "Captain, they're all talking at once. Some are scared, some are excited, some are angry. They don't know what to think about us anymore." Choi Hyun had been analyzing the new communication abilities their ship now possessed. "Captain, we can now communicate directly with any ship or species, regardless of their language or technology. The Veilthak translation systems are incredible." Kang Minji was studying the new defensive capabilities. "Captain, our ship could easily defeat any of these fleets, but the weapons are designed to disable rather than destroy. Even the most powerful settings are meant to stop attackers without killing them." "That's the difference," Oh Seung-min observed. "The Veilthak designed their final technology to protect and teach, not to conquer." The Celestian Union representative, who had wanted to rescue the humans, spoke up. "If you are truly guardians, what will you do with this power?" Captain Minho thought carefully before answering. "We will share knowledge that helps people grow. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will try to prevent wars rather than win them, and we will make sure that no species, including humans, makes the same mistakes the Veilthak made." "How can we trust you?" the Korvaran commander demanded. "You now have more power than anyone else in the galaxy." "Because," Minho replied, "we chose to stay human. The Veilthak offered us the chance to become like them, beings of pure energy and thought unlimited by physical existence. We said no. We chose to keep our limitations because our limitations are what make us care about others." The voice of the Veilthak spoke one final time, broadcasting to all the ships present. "The test is complete. Humanity has proven worthy of our inheritance. They have power, but they choose wisdom. They have knowledge, but they keep compassion. This is what we could never achieve. Where will you go now?" Supreme Chancellor Zephyros asked the humans. "Home first," Minho said. "Earth needs to know what has happened. But then we will travel throughout the galaxy, learning about different species and civilizations. We will offer help to those who want it, and protection to those who need it." "And the Forbidden Zone?" asked the Voidwalker. "It's no longer forbidden," Gina replied. "It will become a center of learning. Any species that wants to study Veilthak knowledge peacefully will be welcome here. But the most dangerous technologies will remain under human protection." Dr. Deho had been thinking about the implications of their transformation. "Captain, we're not just representatives of humanity anymore. We're representatives of what any species can become if they choose growth over power, wisdom over strength." "That's a big responsibility," Hera said. "Yes," Minho agreed, "but I think humans are ready for it. We've always been good at adapting, at finding new ways to solve old problems." Over the following days, the various alien fleets gradually dispersed. Some left angry, feeling that humans had gained an unfair advantage. Others left curious, wondering what this would mean for the future. A few stayed, wanting to learn more about the transformed humans and their new role. The Soul's Pride became the first of a new type of ship, vessels that combined human engineering with Veilthak transcendence. But it would not be the last. The Veilthak station began producing more ships, each one bonded to humans who had proven themselves worthy of the responsibility. Captain Minho accepted a new title, Earth's first ambassador to the Transcendent Realm. His crew became the first members of humanity's Cosmic Guardian Corps. They would travel the galaxy, helping where they could, learning from every species they met. The Galactic Council faced a new reality. For 3,000 years they had been the ultimate authority in their region of space. Now they had to learn to work with humans who possessed technology beyond their understanding. Some council members were resentful, but many were relieved. Finally, someone else could take responsibility for the biggest problems. Months later, when Soul's Pride returned to Earth, humanity was ready for the truth about their place in the galaxy. Humans were no longer a young species slowly learning to travel between stars. They had become the inheritors of the galaxy's most advanced civilization. But more importantly, they had proven that power without wisdom leads to destruction, while wisdom with power can lead to miracles. The Soul's Pride's emergence in the Forbidden Zone had changed everything. And as Captain Minho looked out at the stars, he knew that this was just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, And now humans had both the power and the responsibility to help it become something even more amazing than the Valthak had ever imagined. They had chosen to remain human while becoming something more. That choice would echo throughout the galaxy for generations to come.